Going to talk from various offices and departments tonight to provide you with some important information you need to know just to make sure that everything is good before you graduate in May. So my name is Jamie Fodio. I'm with Career Services, and I'll talk a little bit later on about that. But for now, we're going to start off with Dr. Ensminger.
Well, congratulations. You're almost there. Seems like you finally got the hang of this college thing. Not that long ago, you were nervous, uncertain, apprehensive, not sure what you were going to do, how you were going to make it through the next 3 years or 4 years. And what I wanted to make sure of is that you don't find yourself in May in the same situation, all right? And a little bit of planning, a little bit of proactivity on your part will help with that. First of all, I want to say that this is a particularly meaningful senior class for me because, like it or not, I ain't one of you. This is my last year here. I'm graduating with you. It's taken me 12 years. It's taken you less long, but I'm happy to be one of you. What I want you to do is to do a little bit of projecting forward and think about May and think about how you want to feel and what you want to be doing in May. In the first place, you want to be graduating in May, right? You need to make sure that that's going to happen. You want to make sure that you fulfilled your requirements, including Odyssey. A lot of times, late April, early May, folks come to me because the registrar has identified some deficiency or another. They blame the advisor, they blame the registrar, they blame the Odyssey office, they blame their astrological signs, they blame just about everybody but themselves. But the fact is, it is your responsibility to make sure that you have fulfilled the requirements. And no matter what your advisor says, no matter what the registrar says, double check, all right? Make sure that you've done what you need to do. Second, think about what's going to happen after commencement. The economy's not great. It's better than it was, but it's still not great. So it would help if you would either think about graduate school now, so that you can apply and actually get in and have someplace to go next fall and won't be back in your parents' house. But if you're not going to go to graduate school immediately, and for a lot of you, that's probably a good idea. I think for most people, it's a good idea to take a gap year. Think about what you're going to do. There are a lot of paid, not-for-profit opportunities out there. There are some that are not paid, but they're still valuable work experience that you can use to parlay into a career, or at least a good-paying job later on. So give that some thought. Visit the Career Services office. If you're not thinking you won't go to graduate school, if you are thinking of going to graduate school, talk to your major advisor and see what you need to go, what's the best program for you. A lot of resources here that you may or may not have come into contact with. There's the Alumni Network. Again, Career Services folks can help you with that. But the main thing is to be, unless you're set for sure on a particular career path, you need to be flexible and creative in where you're going. And again, the Career Services folks, your advisor, and other folks can help you with that. Second of all, you've spent the last 3 years going on 4 developing skills that help you succeed in an academic environment. And I know that many of you will think, well, okay, but how does that translate on the next step? What I want to do now is read you an email that came to one of our faculty members, a faculty member in psychology, about one of the students that had been just hired by this company. I'll leave out some of the identifying information. Dear Professor Blank, I'm a recruiter at Blank, a healthcare software company based in Madison, Wisconsin. If you haven't heard of this company, don't be surprised. Forbes recently referred to us as the silent giant of the electronic medical records industry. We've had the pleasure of interviewing your student, who listed you as a reference. We are very impressed by the quality of your student and have extended an offer for one of our positions. It's a philosophy student, working for a software company. We know that the students graduating from Hendrix College are of a high caliber and that the professors and staff are doing a wonderful job. We would love to see more of your students in our interview process. Could you pass this message along to students, or if you have any other fantastic students who would like to work in a fast-paced and growing healthcare technology company whom you could recommend, we would really appreciate it. We're looking for people from all backgrounds and majors. We have one of the most selective hiring processes in the U.S., so when you work here, you'll get to collaborate with the brightest minds in the healthcare industry and make a difference from day one. Improve healthcare, get great benefits, wear jeans to work. Sounds like a good deal. One student, one philosophy student, spent 4 years here writing papers about Plato and Kant and Heidegger, and is now working for a major software company, making a great impact. You have a lot of skills that are very desirable out there. All you need to do is think about how you can present them and show what it is you have to offer. A lot of people out there looking for people like you. You just need to be a little bit proactive in pursuing those opportunities. Okay? I hope to see you a few months from now at the senior meeting. I have just one thing to say right now. You still have time. If you have a name that's difficult, going to be difficult for me to pronounce at commencement, you still have time to change that name. Thank you. I'll turn it over to the next person.
I'm Dr. Paul's Corbett, and I'm supposed to talk to you about Odyssey and also possibly about how you can use service and volunteer opportunities. So first, Odyssey. I have a simple message. It comes in 3 parts, and that is Odyssey, complete it, Odyssey, use it, and Odyssey, communicate it. So first, I know since you hit the ground here, you're probably tired of us reminding you of what it takes to complete Odyssey. But as Dr. Insminger said earlier, we still have people who come up and are surprised. So just a reminder, it is at least 3 Odyssey credits in 3 different categories, and you need to make sure that you have completed that. You should receive this week, if you haven't already received it, a letter from the Odyssey office giving you an audit that will tell you if you have those 3, and then you will get another one in the spring. You can also, of course, look at the bottom of your course history to see what you've done there. But anyway, Odyssey, complete it. And then really more important, I think, is Odyssey, use it. And when I say that, I mean 2 things. One, there is still some opportunity to do Odyssey experiences. You may be signed up now for classes, especially in the undergraduate research category for your capstone. Maybe you have a proposal in yet for the October 1 round for either winter break or spring break. Or maybe you're in touch with Career Services about doing an internship. At any rate, this is a really good time, your last couple of semesters here as an undergraduate, to ask, what do I want to know about the world, and what do I want to know about myself? That, to me, is really what Odyssey gives you the opportunity to do. We as professors offer you the best classes we can. We think they give you important things about the world and about great literature and about all the great ideas, but in the end, it's you, Odyssey tells us, right? That is to decide, what do I want to know about this world? What do I need to do to go out and find that? So I'd really encourage you to step back and ask, what has my college education not shown me? Or what has it shown me that I still want to know more about? And see if in this last part of your senior year you can design a project, work with a professor. It doesn't have to cost money, but to design something and do that. So that's one way to use Odyssey, is to take seriously that we want you to use it, to know about the world and about yourself. The second way is, maybe you have all those Odyssey credits already, maybe you've done what you want to do with it. Use it by stepping back and asking, now that they're all done, what have I learned about myself? We have discovered over the years that Odyssey is a powerful tool for helping students find out what their capacities are to act in the world outside of academia, to discover their values, to test their social ideals, to really question what they've read in their books, right? And sometimes you find that when you step back and say, okay, now that I've done it, what have I learned? So I want you to use it in that way. There's a third way that I want you to use Odyssey, but it really relates to my last thing, and that is communicate it. All of you should know that no Odyssey project is complete until there is a 150-word or less project description turned into the Odyssey office, correct? And remember, those go on your transcript. And now, when a graduate school asks for your transcript, when a workplace asks for your transcript, they receive not only your list of classes and grades, but your Odyssey transcript. That means they're going to see those little 150-word project descriptions, some of which you wrote back when you were a freshman or a sophomore. So you may go, oh me, I want to rethink that. Right? And you actually have that opportunity. So here's what I challenge each of you to do, remembering that your future employers, your future graduate schools are going to read that. I want you to go to Campus Web, click Academics, click My Odyssey Projects, and you should have there what the Odyssey office has entered as your project description. Take a look at it. Is it grammatically correct? Right? Do you, in the end of that, state the impact of that, right? You've been told, but you might not have taken it seriously at the time. Here's what you need to do in a project description. Number one, what did I do? Number two, what impact did it have? What did I draw from it? What did I learn? Number three, did the way that I state those two things show a connection between those two, right? You want it to be coherent. So you have this opportunity, go back, look at those, make sure they're right, because you're going to communicate something to somebody, and you want to make sure that it's very nicely done. If you want to redo yours, you need to contact Janina in the Odyssey office and make sure that that's done. But more than just getting that right, I want you to think about how you communicate to others about this Odyssey experience. We had some folks on campus, or maybe we were meeting them off campus, some businessmen, talking about what we can do to help our graduates in the world after they graduate. And a person said, you know, we get a lot of good graduates from a lot of good colleges with good grade points, and the students have good grade points. What makes a difference is the story they have to tell about who they are and how they came to be that person. I hope your classroom experiences have been a part of that story. I'm sure your Odyssey experiences have also. So begin thinking about, what does your education here, classroom and outside the classroom, what is it telling you about who you are, what your story is, and what you need to communicate to others for them to know that and to know the special gifts that you have to offer. So, Odyssey, complete it. Odyssey, use it. And Odyssey, communicate it. Thanks.
All right, that's just me. Chris Simon has crickets chirping right now on his phone, and that's just not right. So when he gets up here, boo him very seriously. I want to let you know that I know last year when I talked to his juniors, I gave you the halftime speech, and now we're not at halftime, so I'm still trying to figure out a metaphor to use with you tonight. I think I did come up with one. Unbeknownst to you now in my physical size, I was actually a lean, mean runner when I was back in high school and in college. And my favorite event was the mile. love the mile. And I love the mile because as opposed to sprints where you make one mistake, you're out, you had time to kind of settle into the race, have some strategy, and finish the race strong. And if you weren't as fast as the other person, you can out-persevere them by getting out ahead of them and kind of pushing yourself to your limits, but also understanding that you had to be ahead of them in order to make your goal. And for me, I was thinking there's also some nice symmetry to college life, because a mile on a regular course is 4 laps. 4 laps for you being at college. And the exciting thing is you finish the very first lap, you kind of come into it nervous and anxious, but you get into a rhythm where you're halfway around the track and all of a sudden half of the track is gone, and yet you're feeling like you're in the race, you now know what you're going, you can see all the positions open up. The next 2 laps, you're kind of trying to build yourself and trying to really think about how you can get to where you're ready to finish. When you hear the bell lap, as soon as you hear that bell, your heart speeds up again, and you really need to know that this is it. You need to either start making your move or think about how you're going to finish the race. Well, we're at the bell lap. You guys are there. You've made it this far. You've done very well. What happens this year to make it successful? You need to really be thinking about where you need to be. You've heard some tips already, but there's still opportunity. There's still things, if you've made mistakes or if you've had things that you wanted to do, it is now the time to reflect on those, think about those, and engage in those. And if there's something I can help to do with that, or any of our staff in the Student Affairs Division, we would love to do that, or anyone here at the school. There's opportunities for you to engage, to fill in some of the holes. You may have learned a lot in class, but let's say you haven't had an experience outside of class that you want to have. You can still have that experience. I think as you think about what you want to accomplish, it is important to write down the goals and think about how you can affect your life and change for the future. And in particular, please visit our career services and make sure you're actively engaged with them about what's happening, what your plans are, and keep in touch with us afterwards when we start asking about where you've been and what's going on, so that we can help with you and realize that we're always here. We're always a place you can come back to. I think at the end of the race, no matter what happens, when you're done, you're relieved. But you also look back and say, did I do everything I could to do as well as I could? And did I give everything in the end? And you don't want to end up holding back on that. You want to be able to say, I did that. So I encourage you to have a great bell lap, and I say I will help you as much as I'm able. Thank you very much.
Hey guys! Hello, that is loud. Hi Peter! I'm Kevin Spatz, and this is Caroline Kelly, and we are the co-chairs of the Senior Committee. Our committee's job is to help promote camaraderie among our class, and we do that by throwing senior nights, doing senior predictions, and fundraising money for a senior gift. Now, of course, this isn't just a 2-person job.
The rest of our team consists of Adrian Dronkowski, Alyssa Jasic, Jacob Hartmeyer, Abba Colbert, Thomas Andrews, Lyle Gregory, Lauren Planty, and Alyssa Hansen.
So, earlier this week, we sent out a poll asking you what your top senior gift choice was, and the results are in. You guys' favorite senior gift idea was to replace the gravel walkways outside of the SLTC. Now, before you get too excited, I do want to let you know that we're not ready to start pouring concrete just yet. What we'll do is we'll take this idea and put it forth as a recommendation to the senior staff at Hendrix, and if they approve it, then we'll go forward. But in the meantime, we can start raising money for a general senior gift fund.
So our goal this year as the 2014 class is to raise $14,000. That sounds like a lot of money, but we did the math, and if everybody donated $50, we would be over $15,000. So how we do this is everybody submits a deposit before they get to Hendrix. And this year you'll have the opportunity to donate all of the $200 or part of it or whatever you'd like to the fund. And we'll come out with that in the next few months. Then it's a great way to give money because then you never actually see it in your bank account, so you don't really feel like you have it. And another way we fundraise money is through monetary fund.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. Don't you love these segues? Because, so today all of you should have gotten an email about the Alumni Giving Challenge. And some of you might have even read that email. But for those of you that didn't, what the Alumni Giving Challenge is a competition between Hendrix and Southwestern University to see who can get the most alumni and senior donors. In other words, this is a competition about participation and not about money raised. So, but all the money that seniors raise goes towards our senior gift fund. The winner of the competition is going to be announced this Saturday at our home football game against Southwestern University. And if we lose, then President Arnold is going to have to walk out on the field on our own turf at halftime wearing Southwestern's school colors, and just to add insult to injury, he's going to have to give him a big-ass trophy too, which would not be cool. But if we win, then their prez has to rock out to orange and black, and we get a big-ass trophy, which would be awesome. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking donations at that back table there at the end of the meeting. If everybody could just give $1, then we could take the lead. Now, I checked the scoreboard earlier this afternoon, and unfortunately, right now, it's Warriors 170 to Pirates 400. I know that sounds bad. I know that sounds really bad, and it kind of is. But I also checked with the registrar, and we have 321 seniors that we have not tapped into yet. So if everyone gives $1, we can take back the lead. And there is nothing I love more than a good comeback story. So, if after the meeting, you guys will dig a little bit into your pockets, go back to that table back there. If you give tonight, we have free solo cups for you. We'll also be taking money during, we'll also be taking money during lunch tomorrow at the Sun Porch, but we won't have solo cups then, so think about giving tonight. And also, unfortunately, we can only take paper money, we can't take coins, but we do have change back there. We can break your 20s, so let's give a little bit and help Southwestern's prez show some of his Warrior pride. Now, before we get off, Caroline's also going to tell you about another event that we've got coming up.
So something else Senior Committee's working on is with Career Services. It's called Life After Hendrix. Who knows what they're doing next year? Okay, so what we're doing is it's next Wednesday, October 2nd, from 7 to 9. There's 4 different workshops. You can come to a few, and you don't have to go to all of them. And they're 30 minutes each. And what they are graduate school, LinkedIn, job and gap year searches that work, and then Life After Hendrix. And at these workshops, Career Services is going to put on a presentation and talk about different resources we have and what they think will help us for next year. And at these workshops, we have different coupons from places around Conway, including Zaza and Tzatziki's. So, come to the workshops.
By the way, there's vouchers for free gelato. Free gelato for the first 150 people that show up. So tell your friends, but if you're worried about the vouchers thing, you can just tell them it starts at 7:30 instead of 7. You'll be good.
Thank you.
That's a tough act to follow. But I get to talk to you a little bit about Life After Hendrix too. I'm Pamela Owen, and I work in the alumni office. And that was the serious part about Life After Hendrix, like what you do. And our part is like the parties you get to go to, and the events, and coming back to campus, and Facebook, and what all's going on with Hendrix. Because wherever you go, you're taking a little piece of Hendrix with you, and we want to keep you connected at all times with the office. Before that happens, I get to work with Kevin and Caroline on the senior banquet, and that's your first alumni event before you graduate. So technically, you're really, according to the alumni office, already alumni, but this is your first alumni event before graduation. So it's going to be my pleasure to work with them, and you'll hear from me more in the future. We have a lot of ways to stay connected with other alumni all over, and that's really good for networking. And that kind of goes back to the Career Services Office too, and LinkedIn. And there are a couple of thousand people out there that are Hendrix alums that want to know about what's going on with everybody on campus too. So that's a good thing. I'm going to turn it over to the Troubadour staff.
Hey guys, my name is Mitchell. If you may know me, I'm the editor-in-chief of the Troubadour this year. Before I get started about senior stuff, if you may be curious about where this past year's book is, and I'll let you know that due to some unforeseen production issues, it has been delayed a bit, but we are working on it, and it will be out this semester, we promise. So just be on the lookout for when the Troubadour comes out. And so to this year's book, every year we have a senior section in our book. It's a way to celebrate you and for you to really feel connected to college. But it's a little bit of work on your part. And so if you have any papers or pens on the back of this where it says notes, it's going to help. What we need from you is your name, your majors/minor, your hometown, and a quote that is publication worthy. And a picture of you, and that can be sent to seniorphotos@hendrix.edu, so that's senior photos. But also related to senior photos, we do allow, this is something we've done in the past, last year and a couple of years ago, we will have a photo shoot day for seniors. So if you are going through all of your old Facebook photos and you're like, man, I think it's worthy, I can't put this in the yearbook, don't worry. When you send me that email, you will tell me that you want to do a senior photo, and we'll do a photo shoot on campus. And I'll give you more details about that later. But the date to turn in all of this, I'm really serious about dates. Deadlines are important to me, because when you don't have deadlines, you don't have a yearbook. So the deadline for this is October 25th. It's a Friday. It's after fall break, so you can scour through all of your photos back home. Maybe get your mom to pick out your favorite one. And you'll send that to seniorphotos@hendrix.edu. And if you don't submit a photo, then you'll tell me that you want to take a photo, and I'll be more than willing to take a photo of you. And last thing, so I'm really excited, and I can't wait to see your faces in your book.
I'm Brenda Adams, I'm the registrar. I need to tell you a little bit about your degree audits and your graduation applications. Tomorrow, everybody, all the graduating seniors will be getting an email with a link in it for the graduation application. You need to log into Campus Web first before you click on that link. Otherwise, it just takes you there and it won't open up the link. You'll go into that, you'll indicate which term. Are you graduating fall? Are you graduating spring or summer? You'll indicate that. You'll indicate how you want your name to appear on the diploma. Whatever you type in there, that's what we're going to print. So we get a lot of parents
that will double check because they want you to have your full name in there, or at least your full first name, not a nickname. So think about what you type in there before you submit. The graduation application is due by November 1st. After that, the link will no longer be available, it won't be working. You'll have to come to the office and fill one out in person there. But we do need that so that we have time to get diplomas printed. Transcript requests, if anybody is filling out grad school applications, you'll need to make transcript requests. Those are done online in Campus Web. They are processed every Monday and Thursday, so make sure you have it submitted before, a deadline for that application, so that we have time to get them processed and ready for you. Your audits, y'all should have gotten an email from our office with outstanding requirements, or if everything was good, you got a nice email. If you have any questions about what was listed in that audit, or changes you've made to your schedule and how they might affect the audit, please stop by the office and we'll look at it and discuss it and see if you're still on track or what needs to be done. And then I have a feeling that I was tricked. This is my first time at this meeting, and I was told we had to introduce whoever came after us. And I was given a script. So, here we go. And now, I would like to introduce someone very special to me. Over the past few years, I've had the pleasure of occupying a neighboring office to this gentleman. It did not take long to consider him a great office mate. And now I can honestly say that he is also a great friend. I hope you all have someone in your life that means as much to you as Chris Simon does to me. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Simon.
I can't believe she read it. That's awesome. Yeah, you were tripped. And thank you guys for not booing. I'll try to make this really quick, and I'm going to make it sort of interactive. By a show of hands, since you've been back on campus this August, who's looked at your Campus Web account, your billing statement? Oh my gosh. Very nice. As you're coming in as your freshmen and your sophomores and getting used to the ropes, we deal a lot with your parents and whoever may be providing financially. But now that you're seniors, it's really important that you have a grasp on your account, because guess what? When you walk across that stage in May, if you owe money, you won't have a diploma. You'll have a friendly letter from me saying that your diploma's in my office. So make sure you become really familiar with that. And I have a fear that there's still one or two of you that have not had the privilege of working with me to resolve some problems. So to that end, by a show of hands, who's had a problem or needed advice and come to see me? Keep your hands up. Only keep your hand up if after that experience you were intimidated or would not come back again. So, to the people who have concerns, if you're worried, if you have a balance, if you have general questions, know that I'm here to help you. That's my job here, and I take pride in it. So, if you have a balance, if you don't know what to do, if you're struggling with financial verification, loan issues, come see me. I will help you. I'll make sure you get taken care of. The last thing I want to talk to you about is always such a headache on the last week of school, right before graduation, library fines. It's always about 2 to 3 days before graduation weekend that we get a list of the seniors who have not returned books. I cannot tell you how stressful it is to have about 100 people pay up in about 3 days. It's crazy. So, starting now, I want you to make sure to check your emails. Look for emails from the library or Diane Edwards. Make sure you're not on any kind of tardy list for books, and get that stuff taken care of now. You don't want to deal with it the Thursday and Friday before graduation. It's just a headache. Go ahead and take care of that now. If you have any other questions about your billing statement, finances, my office is always open. My cell phone's in my email. You can get in touch with me whenever you want. Be happy to help you. And I had an equally heartfelt introduction for my presenter, but she's not coming tonight. So, Brenda, I love you. Thank you for saying that stuff.
All right, pretend that I am Dee Dee Allen from the bookstore right now for the next couple of minutes. She unfortunately had a student worker that had to leave early and ended up having to close the bookstore tonight and wasn't able to come. But she has some really important information that she wanted me to make sure to share with you. Grad Fest is coming up in November. It will be on Thursday, November 7th in the bookstore from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So for the majority of the day, that Thursday, November 7th. This is where you will be able to order your graduation attire, the cap and gowns, your announcements, class rings, if that interests any of you. Hendrix has a great class ring. So be sure to check out that event at some point on Thursday, November 7th from 10 to 3 in Village Books. Just so you have an idea of the costs, a bachelor cap, gown, and tassel is $43.98. The cost for the master's attire is $3 more at $46.98. Or you might be able to find the attire that someone wore in previous years and borrow that. Make sure you check with your family about ordering announcements. You might not care to send that out, but your family might want to brag on you and send those out. So don't let this opportunity to order those announcements go by without at least checking with your family to see if they want to do that. The cap and gown will arrive in the bookstore the 1st of April, so in plenty of time for you to go and pick that up before graduation later in May. And you will be picking that up from the bookstore. Announcements, however, will be mailed to your home address. So if you order those, they will go to your home address. If you order the cap and gown, they will come to the bookstore in early April. Dee Dee says she will send lots of email reminders about all of this, but wanted to make sure you had this information now, and to please contact her or Barbara if you had any questions about that. All right. Now to the career services portion of things. A lot of you have heard someone mention career services. See us, come by our office at some point during their presentation. How many of you have never stopped by our office? And I'm not going to get mad, I'm just curious. Wow, that's not as many hands as I thought. All right, let me ask you another question. How many of you know exactly what you're doing after May? You have been accepted into grad school, you have a job offer, you know exactly what you're doing. Raise your hand really high. 1, 2. That's awesome. There is a whole lot of you, though, that have not made the decision on what you will be doing next. And maybe you have an idea. Maybe you have a pile of grad school applications sitting on your desk in your dorm or apartment. Or maybe you've started thinking about the types of jobs you want to apply for. No matter what you plan on doing, Career Services is here to help you. We have 4 great full-time staff members and 4 wonderful student assistants. Molly Umble, who is here, is one of them. And we are happy to help you with anything that involves what you will be doing after May. If you're applying for grad schools, we review personal statements, we help you with your curriculum vitae, with your applications, with your interviewing. If you plan to be applying for jobs, we will help with resumes, cover letters, again, interviewing. And a lot of you are really interested in what Dr. Ensminger said, a gap year or a service project abroad for a year. That is becoming more and more popular. We have a lot of students coming in saying, I think I want to go to grad school, or I think I might want to do this job, but really I just want to take a year and do a little bit more exploring do service, teach English abroad, do something like that. And we help with that too. We have lots of different options that we can go over with you, lots of different resources to share with you. So please utilize our services. I would hope that at the senior or the graduation meeting that happens later on in the spring, that if I were to stand here in front of you and ask that question again on how many people have been by career services, that every single one of you would have raised your hand by that point. So please come see us. We aren't scary, just like the business office isn't scary. And usually the people that come and see us and get help will continue to come back and really appreciate our services. You can schedule an appointment with us. We love taking appointments, or we have walk-in weekdays every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 1 to 3. We have a dedicated staff member where you can come in and see us on a first-come, first-served basis without an appointment. So keep that in mind. And we are really looking forward to the event that Caroline and Kevin mentioned in early October. I guess it's next Wednesday night, the Life After Hendricks event. We're really looking forward to that. We have some great presentations to share with you and to kind of help you think through some of those options for after graduation.